We've been seeing some very disturbing things lately. That murder committed by the police officer, the acts of violence, the rioting, the looting, the destruction. And just witnessing these things can affect us very deeply and can give us a justification to hate, whether we want to admit that we're hating or not. We are hating, whether it's hating that police officer, hating those people who are causing the violence and the destruction, hating the President of the United States, hating people that oppose our point of view, people that are in a different faction, whether it's the right or the left. And the problem is, hate doesn't solve anything. Hate only creates more hate. And unfortunately, I've seen this hate play out in my community of friends, on Facebook and in other circles. I'm watching people take sides and expressing hate towards one another. And some of these are people that I've sat in retreat with, that I've learned the teachings of Lester Levinson alongside of, the teachings of love and oneness. And this shows how easy it is to forget these truths and fall right back into the ego, to take sides, to take a position and hate others, whether we feel justified or not. And there's no justification for hate. Now, we might feel that there's no other option, that hate must be expressed or else nothing's going to get done. But that's not true. We have a shining example of what happens when you go a different direction. Mahatma Gandhi showed us another way. He showed us a way of nonviolence, non-resistance. And he showed us that that way worked. Now, he came from a position that is called ahimsa, which translates to compassion. Now, compassion as a word in itself is often misunderstood. When people often say compassion, the way that they express it is like, oh, you poor thing, I have compassion for you, which really is putting the other one down. But ahimsa, if you look it up, it's a very uplifting perspective. It's a perspective of oneness, of sameness. It's recognizing that no matter who the other one is, no matter what it is that they're doing, no matter how evil their ego seems to be, behind that ego is a spark of creation, of pureness, of divinity. And we all share the same spark. And this is an important thing. This is what brings us together, is recognizing that behind each of our preferences, the way each of us lives our life, the way each of us acts, for good or bad, behind all of that in each of us is the same beingness, the same love. And see, most of us, when we get triggered by these awful events, and we want to do something about it, and when we get triggered and we start acting out in hate, it's in good intentions. Within us is that sense of love. We want things to be right. But we can't follow the ego. We got to look within us for that beingness and recognize that the beingness within us is the same beingness that's within the other, no matter how awful they seem to be. So my question is, are you willing to take that perspective? Are you willing to set your ego aside and come from a position of brotherhood, of sisterhood, of togetherness, to say, hey, look, you are me. And I know that you may see things differently through your feelings, through your experiences, through your mind. You may have a different point of view, but inside, behind all of that, we are the same. Would you be willing to look beyond the differences between you and some others that you don't like, and accept and bring together that togetherness amongst us? See, it takes each of us to do this. And if you're willing, let's do this together. Let's release our anger, our hatred, our negativity, so we can come together. Now, just think about somebody that you don't agree with. Whether it's somebody that you've seen posted online, or somebody in the government making policy. And first of all, just notice how that makes you feel. And you can bring your attention to your stomach or chest here, to your feeling center. And notice if you are feeling all tense, contracted, all tightened up. Just thinking about this person, what it is that they're saying, the position that they're taking. Notice how you're feeling. And guess what? That's your feeling. And you're blaming them for it. You're saying they're doing it to you. And look at your belief a little bit deeply, more deeply about this. You see, inside of you, you probably have a belief that if they just didn't do that, if they changed their point of view, if they stopped, or if they went away, if they disappeared, then this uncomfortable, tight feeling would go away and everything would be better. So really you're blaming them for your misery, your tight feeling. And you're feeling that if they change, you'll feel better. But I think if you really are honest with yourself, you'll see that doesn't work. Even if they do go away or change, you're just going to find something else to be dissatisfied about. You're going to find someone else to fight against. Isn't that true? Because right now you're listening to the ego. The ego's got you. Now, all you have to do to get bigger than the ego and actually get bigger than the whole situation is take care of your feelings first. After all, why let somebody else bother you? Why let yourself get all tightened up and pulled down by somebody else? And notice, the more you feed into this and you justify being contracted and closed up, all you're really accomplishing is keeping this person and the whole problem on your mind. You're keeping it in your consciousness. So right now, just bring your attention to where it is that you're all knotted up, where you feel the tightness. Bring your focus here to your stomach or chest. Where do you feel that contraction? And right where you feel that, open up an imaginary window or door. And let that energy go. Just imagine that energy going out the door. Because you see what you've been doing? Whenever you see that person or you see what they say, you push your feelings down. That hatred, that insecurity even. You don't like those feelings. They're deeply disturbing to you. And you're fighting with your own feelings. You're holding them down. And that's why you feel all knotted up. And you're blaming the other one for it when you're doing it. All you have to do now is just open up. Let that energy go. Let that energy go a little bit more. Just imagine that energy moving right on out the door. And imagine that energy leaving some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. It's just energy. Now, some of us, either consciously or unconsciously, we believe that that energy, that hatred gives us strength and power. That if we let it go, we would let others walk all over us. That we would be defenseless. That's why some of us, we purposefully hold on to it or unconsciously hold on to it. But it doesn't make you powerful. It makes you weaker, it makes you reactive, and you just go down with the other one. If you want to move up, and if you're really interested in correcting the situation, you gotta let the energy go. So open up. Let that energy go now. Let it go some more. And 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 notice if you feel a little bit lighter. Do you? That's your power now coming back to you. It's always been there, covered up by your hatred, justified or not. It's ego, right? It's covered up by your ego. And by letting that energy go, you're dissolving the ego. And this lighter feeling, again, it's your power, it's the love that's inside of you. This is the place where solutions happen. Now, see if you're disapproving of this person. Now, disapproving of them, what does that accomplish? And say it's somebody that you see on Facebook posting something, you want to argue with them, and maybe you do. Maybe you post against them. Now, are you really changing their mind? Or are you just pushing them away? And you're seeding them into their position deeper and deeper. And you're seeding yourself in your position deeper and deeper. And you're really not accomplishing any sort of togetherness. At most, you're just accomplishing people that agree with you to agree with you more. And you create deeper divisions. And also when you disapprove of the other one, look at what you're carrying around. A feeling of disapproval, a feeling of hatred. And it's like they say, having a grudge against somebody is like taking poison and waiting for the other one to die. They're doing what they're doing. Like, you may hate that orange man in the office, but do you really think that he cares that you hate him? He's still doing what he's doing. The only thing that you're accomplishing is you're walking around with a bunch of hate. You're hurting yourself with that. Or anybody else that you are disapproving of for whatever reason. Hate doesn't solve anything. And notice how it feels inside to do it. And you can let that go if you're willing. So the question is, would you rather be hateful or would you rather be loving? Now, I know most of you idealistically would be loving, because even those of you that I see expressing hate, at the same time, you're also posting messages of love. You're posting messages from different masters about love and egolessness, but at the same time, you're expressing the opposite. So, I know, idealistically, we can all agree that it's better to love. But what you got to do is step up and do it. It's not what you say. It's what you do. Are you willing to do it? Now, whoever it is that you're disapproving of, no matter how awful they are, could you let go disapproving of that person? And could you let go disapproving of them some more? And could you let go disapproving of them a little bit more? Just a little bit. And could you let go disapproving of them a little bit more? And could you let go disapproving of them a little bit more? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And just set your ego aside. I'm sure that ego of yours has lots of reasons to disagree and at a deeper level, hate that person. But what does that solve? Absolutely nothing, other than making you feel bad and keeping the problem on your mind. That's not good consciousness. So let's turn that around. Could you let go disapproving of them some more? And some more. And some more. And even more. And could you let go disapproving of them a little bit more? And how does that feel? Is that a little bit lighter? And isn't that nice? Moving in a better, lighter direction. Now, could you give this person a little bit of approval? And let me be clear here, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with the person. It doesn't mean that you have to support what it is that they're doing. It's not agreeing with their ego or with their actions. It's loving them because behind all of that, they're a being. Being as much of a being as you are being. And to that end, could you give them a little bit of approval. And could you give them a little bit more approval? And could you give them a little bit more approval? And a little bit more. And again, doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. And it doesn't mean that you have to roll over and let them do whatever they're going to do. You can give them love, and you can still stand up. You can protest, you can demonstrate. But when you do it from love, you're doing it from a much more empowering place. You're doing it in a place that opens a connection. And we've seen this. We've seen some wonderful videos of police officers kneeling with protesters, marching together with protesters as one, saying, I am with you, I agree. Because you are a person and I am a person, and we can agree on that. You might see things differently in other perspectives, but when it comes down to it, we are really the same. And those are so heartwarming to see. And we can all do this. So take a look at that person that you were not agreeing with and just love them, just for the sake of loving. And could you love them some more? And could you love them some more? And a little bit more. Now, see if you're wanting to change or control this other person. Maybe you're wanting them to see things differently. You're wanting to change their point of view because you think that their way is wrong, your way is right. Or maybe you're wanting them to go away, to completely disappear. And notice where that wanting control leaves you. It leaves you feeling out of control. See, that's the trap of wanting. Want leads you into lack. When you're wanting to control the other one, you're out of control. And it just ends in a fight. Nobody wins. You're just left out of control. Nothing is resolved. And you're doing it with your decision to want to control the other one. Now, could you let go of wanting to control that person? Could you let go of wanting to control them a little bit more? And could you let go of wanting to control them a little bit more? And a little bit more. 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 And now, could you just give them a little bit of permission to be as they are? You see, look at it this way. A weak person needs someone else to change in order to feel secure, right? So you got to change everybody else. Everybody and everything has to be all laid out and organized the way you see fit in order for you to feel good, for you to feel safe, for you to be happy. It doesn't work. Whereas a strong person doesn't need others to change to feel secure, stable, confident. See, that's where a master's coming from. A master's coming from imperturbability. Being in a rock solid place where nobody can bother you, no matter what they do. And a master is someone who is in charge, who's in charge of the world. And notice, the more you want to control or change the other one, you're not in charge. So could you let go of that wanting control? So you can find that space where you really are in charge. Could you let go of wanting control a little bit more? And could you let go of wanting control a little bit more? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And notice how that feels. You see, all you have to do is just make a decision to let go of wanting control. It's just a decision, yes or no. And look at what happens. You start to feel more in control, right? You feel lighter, more at ease, more in control. Now, the best thing that you could do in times like these is really take care of your own sense of safety and security. Because really that's more deeply what's getting triggered. We see what other people are doing and we feel insecure. Oh my God. Make that stop. And see, out of that comes the wanting control. I feel unsafe, so I need to control you so I can feel safe and secure. Now, all you have to do if you want to feel safe and secure is let go of wanting safety and security. Because want equals lack. And it's a decision right now. Could you let go of wanting safety? Could you let go of wanting safety a little bit more? And could you let go of wanting safety a little bit more? And a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And notice how that feels. Do you feel safer? Stronger? This is where change happens. You can't change what's going on out there. You can only change what's going on in here. And guess what? If you do that, I guarantee you're going to see a change out there. Because it all starts in here. It's all your consciousness. And this is the big truth that we discover. This is the truth that Lester Levinson was teaching us. There is no problem out there. It's only inside of us. We have to do the work on us. And as we do this, we begin to see, really see, that there is no other out there. This is what we call oneness, that a lot of us preach about, but we don't actually practice. Now, the best test of oneness is to be one with your worst enemy, right? So take a look at this person that you've been working on, and they may not be your worst enemy, or maybe they are. Right now, notice with your feelings out of the way here a little bit, you feel more stronger, more secure. Now, what's the problem with being loving, with being one with the other? When you have that strength inside of you, see if it's inside of you, who can take that away from you? All right, so just look at this person. Just get a picture of them in your mind and look right at them and say, I love you. I love you. I love you just as you are. I love you. I am you. You are me. I am you. You are me. We are one. How does that feel? Doesn't that feel better than the need to be right and wanting to make the other one wrong? And doesn't that feel like a solution can be found? Because there's definitely not a solution to be found going in the other direction. Notice the difference? This is the great lesson that we're all here to learn, to love. So let's stop talking about it, pretending to do it, and actually do it. It's easy when you do it. And you find your greatest joy and strength when you do it. Are you with me? Let's practice love.